Hello, good morning. It's Ijoma Ude, aka I Just Sparks Made. Today I'm going to be doing a short tutorial on how to make this false wrap dress with this side butterfly. Okay, let's get started. Now, this is the fabric I'll be working with. I really can't tell how many yards because it was a full wrapper material. Then I used some for her daughter. So I started by drafting out my basic skirt. Then I came down by half an inch on the waist side. Okay, I started by drafting my basic skirt, came down by half an inch. Then I used the remaining part of the pattern paper to create that butterfly by the side. And I think I had about 17 inches on this side. So I'm going to be working with the full 17 inches. So I went ahead to just connect that straight line all the way down. Now, for this particular pattern I'm doing here, my client actually did not want it to be too big. She said she's already big, that she didn't want it to be too big. So I went ahead to just give her a nice curve instead of the straight curve. But I'm going to be showing you how to get the exact rectangular shape for your client, okay? But this was what I worked with. You see, I further reduced this butterfly on the side for her, because I didn't want it to be too big because she's already on the big side. Okay, so now, but if you want to do the main design, you just simply do this. You would have to place your skirt pattern and then cut it all the way straight down. I'm going to be showing you an illustration on that. Okay, so now this is it. You see that it's square all the way, but your square is going to like come in a bit on the lower part of the skirt. So it's going to be the same thing but without the curve, okay? It's going to be the exact same thing but without the curve. So it's going to have that straightness all the way from the beginning to the end, okay? So you can either use about 10 inches on this side and then 17 inches on the waist area, okay? So now I'm going to just go ahead and cut out my client's pattern. So now this method can still work. You can decide to do this. You can decide to do the other one with the straight, like the square shape all the way down. Okay, so it's optional. Now I went ahead and I cut everything out. I did for my back as well, and I cut plus my zip allowance. Now for this wrap dress, the wrap upper part, I went in by 2 inches and came up by 2 inches just to get a direction on how to cut this wrap, because I didn't want it to be too open. So now this is just it. I now used my curve ruler to just curve the down part, and voila, I did a tutorial on this wrap, a freehand tutorial on the wrap top, so you can check one of my videos on my channel. So I'll just go ahead and transfer this wrap. Remember that this is a one piece, but it's going to take about 2 sides. Now, if you notice that breast dart at the side, I had to do a bust dart for my clients because she's really, really, really busty. And so it helped because the blouse will fit better, so that I don't end up making a very long length by the side. So it just helps. I think I'll be posting a tutorial on how to do a bust dart later. So I went ahead to cut out my pattern for the upper bodies, and I did the same for the back. So for the back, don't forget that even on your skirt, you add a zip allowance, and even on the front part, you're adding a zipper allowance. Now, I didn't put any dart on the front part of my blouse, but I'll be putting a dart on the back of this dart, on the back of my blouse, okay? So now I went ahead to put darts on the back, and then I'm going ahead to sew and close up the front part of this blouse, like so. Please, if you've watched this video up to this point, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already subscribed. It will really, really help me to do a lot good for me. Thank you. So now I went ahead to join the front of the back to the front of the front, okay? Because I want the seam to be inside the clothes. So I'm closing up everything. So I did front to front on the front, and then back to back. So both lining to lining and wrapper to wrapper. Okay, but you can do it whichever way you want. I just did this method because I wanted everything to be inside, like so, just like what you're saying. So now I'll go ahead and sew and close up my skirt. I also fully lined my skirt, so I'm going to go ahead and sew my lining all around my skirts. Yes, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to sew my lining all around. Now for your back, you're going to turn the back side and then close it up as well. Okay, so this is my back. I'm first of all going to close up my zipper allowance and then now take my lining and close up everywhere all around, like so. So when all of this is done, when I'm done turning my lining, I'm going to go ahead. You notice that notch, that half-inch notch I left, that is it over there. So I'm going to go ahead and iron it very well. Like this is the upper part. I've already fixed my sleeves. It was a balloon sleeves with an elastic down. I fixed my sleeves already. So I'm going to go ahead and just press out my skirt part and then take it back to the machine, pin it. After closing the zip allowance part, I'll go and pin it, and then so I'll go ahead and pin it. But have you noticed that zipper allowance part? I just want you to notice that half-inch allowance I left, okay? I left that half-inch allowance, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and close my zipper allowance so that I can take my measurements. Now, on this part of this video, I wasn't supposed to have any opening on the upper side, okay? So I was supposed to close up this upper side too. I totally forgot, but I went ahead to take my measurement from my zipper allowance. Remember, I closed it so that I could be able to take measurements on the sides, on both sides. And don't forget too that you're sewing this skirt to the front. Remember, it's like a butterfly dress, okay? So all your sewing is being done on the front. So I went ahead to sew, and while sewing, remember that half-inch allowance I left, okay? That is it over there. So I went ahead and sewed all the way down, okay? Now after sewing all the way down, I now realized I was supposed to close the upper parts. So I went ahead to loosen it up, and then I sewed material to material because I wanted everything to be inside, like an inseam sewing. So I went ahead and closed up the upper part. Remember that I didn't close it up, so please take note too. But you can actually leave yours this way, it depends. But my client's preference was to close up the upper part, so I had to go ahead and do that. So I had to loosen up the stitch by the sides that I already did. So to avoid this mistake, please take note. Don't forget that you're closing down the upper part. You don't want the waist area to have an opening dropping on all the way. You want it to be a closed opening, not an open one, okay? So I went ahead and closed it all the way back to my lining, but I still left that half-inch we came down by. I still left it there. So don't close it up. So you still leave it because that's going to be a guide on joining your waist. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to just leave a comment for me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. So at this point, my under thread had finished. So I went ahead to sort that out, and then I went back to my sewing machine and I closed it all up, okay? So this is what it should look like. So this is me sewing that part. I told you I had to close because I didn't want the upper part of this butterfly to be opened. I wanted it to be a closed butterfly, okay? So when this is done, I will just go ahead and turn it all out. So now you can see that this part is closed, right? Okay, so let's look at it together. You can see that I now have a closed end. Then that is still my ½ inch. I'm going to go ahead and just hold that part, that ½ inch I left. I'm going to sew it from inside. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just hold it and sew it from inside. So this is what the closed part should look like. Okay, look at it here. So this is what it should look like. So if you've done the other one, please just correct it. Watch this video to the end before you try out yours too. But you can still work with the opening on the upper part, but the client's preference was to close it. So now I went ahead to sew in this ½ inch I had so that I can use it to join my waist all the way around. Okay, so I went ahead, that ½ inch I came down from when drafting my pattern, I went ahead to join it, and then I joined my skirt all the way up. Now this is what the finished look of this skirt looks like. Remember I said if you need that square shape, if you need the square shape, you can just alter it from your pattern. Okay, I didn't want this one to be too big because of my customer. That was why this is like, it's still the butterfly but it's not square like. So don't forget to like adjust it from your main pattern before transferring it. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget that you can subscribe and leave a comment for me. See you on my next video. Bye.